Hello people, I am Jaby KOAY, joined by CLEO, MAGILL, and ACHARA KIRK.
Hello.
Now, CLEO is my ballet instructor. ACHARA's as well, sometimes, it depends. But mostly Jaby. She's been teaching me for the better part of a year, I believe.
Yeah.
I thought it'd be great to have her on for reviewing this particular film. So we have an actual dance aficionado here. And we're talking about ABCD. So if you guys haven't seen the film yet, they win in the end. Spoiler alert. Here you go. Just thought I'd put that out there. It's like, did you think that something, what? Did you think they wouldn't? When a capable dancer is provoked by the evil design of his employer, naturally he will be out to prove his mettle. ABCD stars Prabhu Deva, Ganesh, Acharya, and Menon. This is your very first Bollywood movie.
Yeah.
And what a one to start out with. So let's start off with just our general feelings about it. Like you said, okay, you just put it out there.
I loved it.
You loved it?
I loved it.
Yeah.
It was so good. They did such a good job of making all the musical numbers like different from each other. If you notice, like some of the characters, even the way they danced were like different. They didn't all dance the same all the time.
Yeah.
And I love that because like it shows the character more.
How'd you feel about the ballet in the movie?
The ballet was okay.
Okay.
It could have been a little bit better.
Okay.
But it was like, yeah.
Okay.
No, it's so funny, like getting like real dancers reviewing the actual dancing in movies sometimes, because I watched this clip, I think it was on Insider's YouTube channel or something, and it was like a professional ballet dancer reviewing dance movies. And one of my favorite dance movies is Center Stage.
Oh yeah.
And then she reviewed the ballet scene in that, and she was like, well, and I was like, no, but I loved it.
The ballet in Center Stage, I think, is really good.
What they're talking about.
Oh,
what'd you think?
sorry.
What'd you think? Okay. So I want to.
No, it was good. Like some of the people were really good.
Okay.
Some of the dancers were really good. The one thing about the ballet, I always felt like in all the scenes, the ballerinas were just standing there, like with their foot pointed, just like watching, and I was like, they wouldn't be doing that.
No.
No, they would be like.
Yeah. As far as my feelings go about this film, I actually did enjoy it quite a bit. The story I thought was actually very well structured because every single setback made them stronger.
Yeah.
As a unit, as a team, as a collection of people, like every time they got thrown an obstacle, it actually worked in their favor in some way where they had to improve and get better.
I loved the dancing, like the main girl, Lauren, I think is her real name.
Yeah,
Okay.
Lauren Gottlieb.
She's amazing. And she was on So You Think You Can Dance.
Yeah.
I used to watch that like growing up, and like she was like, I remember her from that.
Yeah, she speaks pretty darn good Hindi, huh?
Yeah. Does she?
I don't know. I think she was dubbed.
I
She
reckon
was
she
pretty-
was
Oh,
dumb.
really?
Yeah. I really enjoyed it as well. Like I loved how they incorporated all the dance numbers in it, and there was so much, because I feel like sometimes you watch a dance movie and maybe there's like 4, maybe 5 good dance numbers, but this was literally like from the beginning, dance number, dance,
Yeah.
all different types of dances all the way through. So it delivered for being a dance movie. I did think though that sometimes the story beats, I could guess them. I already
Yeah, I mean, it was a
yeah.
predictable film.
Yeah, it's pretty predictable, but it's fun.
Yeah, but you already know what the outcome is before the film even starts.
Yeah.
Like, you basically can see where it's going. You get the trajectory. But what I liked was how it engaged with me emotionally because of all the setbacks they experienced. Like, every time you thought they were gonna have a victory, they didn't.
Yeah.
Until the very end, when they went back to their roots. There was something you wanted to talk about regarding that with religion and
Oh my
whatever.
god, yeah, the Ganesh.
Yeah.
Okay, I love that because like I kind of know about that a little bit. He's the remover of all obstacles.
Yeah.
And I just feel like that's so cool, like to incorporate that into the movie. I just love that, like, cause it symbolized like part of what the character was going through.
Yeah.
The main character, Vishnu. Yeah.
I'm generally a fan of Menon, who is the villain in this movie. This is the very first instance where I looked at him and said, wow, you're like really pushing it, guy. Like,
Yeah.
it was kind of over the top. To be fair, the entire film was over the top.
Yeah, it was like in the context of the film, everybody was kind of.
It's kind of like Bring It, whatever. What's that
Bring
show?
It On.
Bring It
Oh,
On.
I love that movie.
Yeah, it's like it's even pulling a note from that film.
Yeah. Stolen
with his
choreography.
stolen
Yeah,
routine.
yeah. So
Yeah.
it's fine. It's like a bit hyperbolic. But the thing is, Prabhu Deva's acting for the most part seemed to be more grounded.
Yeah.
So that's why.
The main
act, yeah.
Yeah, I loved his acting.
Yeah.
He was my favorite, and he was an amazing dancer.
Right.
It was so cool to see somebody who was so equally acting and dance, because I feel like that's very rare.
Yeah.
Because I act and I like really want to be like equal in that capacity, and he was amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, well,
good.
I'm glad you got exposed to him finally, because he's my favorite.
Yeah.
In terms of like the dancers in India, like every time I see him, I get excited because I'm like his moves. Just I'm not like a dancer like CLEO, but I can recognize just the insane skill level. That
They were amazing. And then the other guy who was like having the drug problem in it, I like rewatched that whole part when he comes in and he was dancing and he did this like thing with his hand. That was the one thing I feel like they in India, like the usage of their hands is something that's very unique to the culture. We don't really do that as much in the way that they do, and it was like really cool, and they did it in slow motion, and he was like so raw, his dancing, and I feel like that's what his character was like, because he was from like supposed to be from like the bad part of town, and I love that part.
I'm convinced, before I forget, I just want to say this, and we'll come back to him. I'm convinced that this movie was shot for 3D. Because I mean, I have no idea. I need you guys to confirm that for me, but it just felt like there were so many particle effects, so much smoke. Like this director loves that smoky look. Like the floor that they were dancing on is all full of sand or dirt or whatever. Like so it kept like exploding with smoke. Right?
And the fire thing.
Yeah, and the fire thing. Yeah,
and the water, the whole dance thing in the rain.
Yeah,
like, how cool would that look?
The dancing in the. There's so much.
Right, and so and there was one part, it was kind of gimmicky, where they were doing this pole thing, and it went straight to camera, and they were like shaking the pole at the camera. I'm like, really? Like, what is this doing?
Right.
Why is this in this movie? So I just justify that with maybe it was for 3D. And this would have been, I think this could have been a cool 3D experience. Anyway, back to that dancer. He had a great moment in the film. It was like bordering on melodramatic, but it still moved me, which is when his friends came back to him to make him take drugs. And he's like, I don't want it. They toss the ring back at him. He goes to pick up the ring, and he gets plowed. I felt something, and ACHARA started talking to me about someone who was like in the movie that was the one
Lauren,
Lauren
Lauren,
who plays Rhea. She's like, oh yeah, she's from So You Think You Can Dance or whatever, and I'm like, woman, I'm trying to have a moment here, okay? Someone just died.
Wait, at that part?
Yeah, that's what she decided to bring it up. I'm like,
I love that. I felt like that was almost like, was that real at first? I was like, did that really happen? And then I was like, no, it did really happen.
I thought that maybe this movie was based a little bit on the The Unbeatable stories, and I was like, oh, maybe this kind of drew from that, but I don't know, maybe not.
Yeah, so I thought that the dance sequence to follow his death was interesting, because it just so happened to be a sad song. It just worked in favor with the emotional moment of the film, and so I couldn't help but notice that. But it was neat how one of the actresses, and I wish they featured her more, was crying while she was dancing.
Oh, I know.
You know, I thought that was really neat.
I really like that. I've done that before.
Well, not on purpose.
No, you kind of let it happen, because it's your emotion, you're expressing yourself. Yeah,
and I like that too, that in that scene, at the end of the dance, I saw they cut to the production team watching it, and they were crying too.
Yeah.
And I feel like when you put so much of your heart and soul into a performance like that, whether it is just normal acting, I feel like sometimes that's easier for people to connect with because there's words and stuff, but then when movement moves you and creates that connection with the audience and the performers, that's just stunning.
I like the music, I like the themes,
Yes.
I like the messages of the film. My favorite thing about it wasn't just a hokey dance film. It was they were actually
No, it wasn't.
They were creating those setbacks for the main characters, for all the main characters, that what they went through together as a collection of people. And you had that one person who was the Judas that went to the other team. I thought I thought that was really cool, because it feels like that's something that would happen in real life. Oh, but I wanted to mention, Menon had a redeeming moment for me as an actor at the end, when the Ganesh dance was happening, and he's crying.
I love that part.
Yeah. Because I was like, oh my god, okay, Menon is bringing it back.
Yeah, I was like, he's a real person.
Yeah. It's okay that he tried to that girl or whatever.
Oh god, that part
so much happened in that movie.
I feel like what happened was they took everything that could possibly happen in a dance movie.
Yes.
And they were like, oh, all the storylines that can happen? we're gonna do all of them.
I know.
We're gonna have the
Black Swan.
creepy teacher.
Yeah, I was like, wait, was this before or after Black Swan?
My question is, does that kind of stuff happen in real life? The creepy teacher.
Not like that. I mean, that's a little exaggerated.
Black Swan
I
came
think.
first.
There's like kind of subtle things sometimes because it's hard because you know like it is your body that you're dancing with and like people will correct you and like sometimes people get a little too friendly and stuff. I mean, there are like things that happen in the ballet world and the dance world that are like that, but I think that happens everywhere.
Yeah,
though.
there was a whole thing about that in gymnastics in the news.
He was
I
their
heard in the
physical
yoga
therapist
thing,
yeah,
too.
there you
and the
go.
yoga thing.
Yeah, Bikram.
Yeah.
It just happens everywhere.
Yeah. So look out, people.
Yeah, watch out. Don't let people touch you.
Yeah.
But also what I really liked was how, like you said, it incorporated lots of different styles of dance, but I love that the finale song was celebrating Indian dance
Yeah.
and the fusion with all the different
I
dance
love
styles.
that part.
That was so cool, because it's like,
What?
yeah, bringing
You
it
just love
back.
Like you weren't kidding when you said you love the movie.
I really loved it. I was like,
I love that. I love that. I love that.
No, but I
when I
think
was
legitimately
watching.
it's like a really great dance movie.
Yeah, I think so too.
Like, in
It's
its genre.
better than a lot of other
exactly.
ones.
It is hokey, but it's fun and it is moving. But it's like I also acknowledge that it's hokey at the same time. So
I mean, there were some
I was
things,
a little
but-
confused about how they pulled that all together at the very end.
yeah.
With no time. They were like on the computer and going over. I was like, realistically, they wouldn't. They
Yeah.
would just keep. Realistically, they would just keep the routine that
Yeah.
they had already done.
Yeah, and just be
But
like, well, now we
that's
look
not a
idiots.
movie, so.
Yeah.
That's where your suspension of disbelief comes in.
Yeah.
You're just so moved by what's happening. You're like, screw it. Who
Yeah,
cares?
whatever. Let's go with it.
Yeah, 10
Yeah.
minutes, 10 hours, whatever. And you're like,
the lights, the
Yeah.
fire.
The synchronicity of it all is what throws you off because it's like everyone's in sync. Like, how did they know to be that in sync with
Listen.
this movement? That's what
Yeah.
it is.
When you're a dance crew, you live and breathe as one organism. If one person knows it, everyone knows it. That's the protection.
Yeah.
Your hive mind is what you're saying.
That's the hive
Well,
mind.
wasn't it supposed to be like that dance was like a part of the culture? Because he was
Exactly.
like, yeah, like we do this at weddings. And
Yeah. The idea.
Yeah, sure.
But then Lauren Gottlieb comes along and she does all
But
of
then
those
the lead's like,
turns.
fetes, yeah. I was like, wait, did she do that at weddings?
I was expecting a scene with Prabhu Deva and KK Menon to like patch their friendship up and like.
Oh yeah, that
but
never
it
happened.
never happened. Like
But you get the sense that it would. He offered him respect.
it sort of reminded me of the end of 8 Mile. Brittany Murphy and Eminem are flipping each other off or something like as a way of endearment towards each other at the end of the movie. That's the sense I got from it because like they did the thing. As sort of saluting each other,
Thank
or
you.
like this,
Yeah.
and that was it. Like they don't actually ever talk again. I like the film quite a bit. I enjoyed it tremendously, and thank you to CLEO for watching it and joining us.
I loved it. It was
And
cool.
thank you, ACHARA, for
For being there.
interrupting my emotional moments.
Oh!
Just kidding. I'm messing around. So, you guys, thanks so much for hanging out with us. Do let us know your feelings on the film and your feelings on our feelings in the comments below. I'm Jaby KOAY. This is
Cleo McGill.
and
ACHARA KIRK.
peace out.
surprised you didn't do the joke.
Can you please what?
Anybody can dance except Jaby.
Yes. Can you please switch out your chair because it's
Oh,
like
yeah.
so
It's so
creaky,
loud,
and I'm like
right?
every time you say I like it too, it goes creaky.